Welcome to this month's Exercise of the Month. A little bit of a different one this month. We're in December and we're talking about mental health and well-being in December. And this month I've decided I want to talk about some ways that exercise can help look after your mental health and general well-being. Something that I see really often at this time of year are patients who are coming in feeling a bit low, a bit drained, a bit just general low mood and low energy. Now this isn't something that directly as a chiropractor that I can treat hands-on, you know. It's something that we can influence. If I reduce your pain, then maybe you'll feel better and you'll feel a little bit more active. But something that's a bit of a running theme as well is people attribute it to the weather. They look outside and they go, oh, this time of year, every year my hip starts aching, my knees start aching, my ankles start aching, it gets dark, it gets cold. And there's a few factors behind this, I think. There does possibly seem to be a little bit of a relationship between humidity and aches and pains in osteoarthritis. There's been some recent studies coming out that suggest that. But this is a very low correlation. What I think is probably more the case in more people is our activity levels drop as the weather gets worse. When it's sunny, when the nights are long, when we get home and it's still daylight, it's easy to go out for a walk. It's easy to go out. You want to be outside and be active, or in the garden, or playing around with the kids. So something, if you're feeling in that sort of situation, if you're feeling a little bit low, you feel like your pain comes around when it gets cold, then maybe think about doing a little bit more exercise when it starts to get cold. Counteract all of the negatives of the season, the negatives of that cold, wet weather. On top of that, there's another factor, energy levels. Recent article in the BBC, there was a quite high percentage of people who felt that they had low energy levels and that was stopping people get into exercise. That was listed as their major reason for not doing exercise. And that's completely understandable. If you don't have the energy, you don't feel like exercising. But it's very easy to get stuck in a loop where essentially you're not fit enough to do what your body asks you to do, and you build up that lack of fitness, you get less able to tolerate it, you get more tired. So if I take it out of a day-to-day life example and use running, use sports as an example, I am not fit enough to run a half marathon. I'm not a runner, certainly doesn't agree with me in that sense for that distance, and I haven't trained to do so. If I kept asking my body to run a half marathon, despite the fact I know it can't, or it's not fit enough to do so, I will get injuries, I will feel exhausted, and I'll struggle generally with maintaining that level. Same with day-to-day life. It might be embarrassing to admit to yourself, but if you're not fit enough to do what you need to do for your day-to-day life, then you will get tired, you will get injured, you will get pain. So a little bit of exercise will often get you to that threshold where it doesn't take much just to be able to do your activities of daily living, your work, and have that little bit of energy left when you come home. Now obviously that's a virtuous circle. If you've gotten fitter, you've done the exercise, you've put in the time, you've got the energy level, now you want to go out and do more because you've got the energy, you want to do more. We want to make that little virtuous circle. We want to turn the vicious circle of not enough energy to go and do exercise, no energy because I'm not exercising, and repeat. We want to turn it into, I've done a little bit of exercise, I get the reward in energy, I want to do more. And then you get that virtuous circle. It really looks after your well-being, it looks after your physical, kind of physical side of well-being, but also your mental side. Exercise releases endorphins, they're happy chemicals, they're massively effective painkillers. It is proven to be as effective, so mild to moderate exercise, I'm not talking about going out and killing yourself in the gym, mild to moderate exercise being proven to be as or more effective than Prozac, which is the leading, maybe not anymore, but one of the leading prescriptions for an antidepressant. So that drug is being found to be as effective as mild to moderate exercise done regularly. There's other sides to exercise that give you the benefit as well. Most of the time, you can find some way of doing exercise in a social setting, whether it's a class like one of the ones we have in our studio here, whether it's a team sport like rugby or football or anything like that, whether it's a sport like cycling where you can go and join a club or anything like that. The social aspect of things gives you a sense of purpose, a sense of place, and that's fantastic for your emotional well-being, your general health. It's also a great way to meet new people, and the social aspect of meeting new people, that socializing really improves your mental and social well-being as well. So a few things to think about there. The last one, it gets dark this time of year. You might be at work, you might go to work in the dark, you might come home in the dark. So something that can lead to low mood, it has a name, it's called seasonal affective disorder, SAD, which is a seasonal depressive disorder, is in a great part related to vitamin D, which is a hidden little horror this time of year where a lot of people miss out on their vitamin D because it's made mostly through exposure to sunlight and UV radiation. Obviously that's not in excess. We don't want to be, sunburn, and I don't want you to go and spend hours on the sunbed just to try and get that vitamin D, but actually vitamin D, perhaps supplementing between the months, I think of October and March, is actually recommended on the NHS for those in need. When that sun gets lower, especially think about it when the clocks change, it's a great way of reminding you maybe I need to start thinking about taking some vitamin D. The darker your skin, the darker your complexion, the more you need that when we're at these latitudes. The further north you live, the more likely you are to need the vitamin D because there's less UV radiation, there's less melatonin and less vitamin D made in your skin. So you don't get that response from the body. And that's something that can really perk up a lot of people's mood and then once again get you out of that vicious circle. So no actual exercises to take home, but I will give you a little bit of a challenge. I would like you to go through the last however many months of exercises I've done, I've lost track now, and try and find 3 of the exercises. Do 3 of the exercises from my videos. You won't find that takes longer than 5 minutes. It will very rarely take longer than 5 minutes and if it takes longer than 5 minutes, it's your fault, not mine. Try and do 3 of those exercises, rotate through and just try and start that on maybe 3 times a week. It's not much, that's 5 minutes, 3 times a week. You spend more time brushing your teeth than that will take over the week. Okay? Hopefully that's been helpful. If there's anything you want to talk about or want to get in touch with us about any of this stuff I've said in this video, then please do. Thank you very much.